Recorded live with little or no editing. It's 2 hours in Star Citizen. If you haven't seen this show, we jump into Star Citizen for a 2-hour live stream, which you can find me on Twitch or YouTube streaming live right now, weekdays. And we go over kind of a state of the game to see how well it's functioning and what you can accomplish in 2 hours of IRL time. Today, we're going to be going over the mining, rock mining to be specific. And we start from the actual launch of the game. So while this is powering up, I'll tell you exactly what we're doing. We're going to be going in a DRAKE Cutlass Black. It's one of my favorite ships. We'll have the Graycat ROC mining vehicle stowed away. All of this I have gotten in advance, but if you want to pick those up as a newer player and don't have them yet, you can rent them in Lorville. I think it's 50,000 a day for the Drake and something like 2,000 a day for the Graycat ROC, which is very reasonable considering in 2 hours I'm predicting we should make at least 150,000 credits. I'm hoping. That's if all goes well. Yesterday we jumped into this and things didn't go so well. In fact, there was a big update or a patch that had some server maintenance downtime. We couldn't even get into the game. So that's how sometimes these videos go. You jump in, you find out that 2 hours of your time is going to be wasted on loading screens and elevators. Hopefully that's not the case today. I've installed a clock up above so you can see what happens in real time. These videos, of course, are cut down to be much shorter than 2 hours so you can absorb them a little quicker.
Seven, you got a hat redemption?
And of course, sometimes chat just screws with me along the way. All right, we're in game pretty quickly, actually. That loaded up quite well. And I believe that I am located on, yes, Faithful Dream Station is where I'm going to be starting from. Let's go get to our ship and take off for some mining. Okay, so already we're having a little bit of a hiccup today. We'll put it away and try it again. All right, we're going to store that. We're going to retrieve the Graycat ROC. You can see there's one over there. I actually claimed it, and so that one doesn't work, and we're gonna have to bring this one up out of the elevator, and then we'll park it off to the side. Try not to get confused by which one's which, and then we'll park that in our Cutlass Black. One issue that I have been dealing with is that my Graycat will be stuck in the floor every time it comes up for some reason. So I just use my gravity pistol and we grab it and pull it out and go park it. And we're out of here. Let's go park this thing. Whoop. You can rent these for, I believe, about 54,000 a day for both. 50,000 for the Cutlass and 2,000 for the Drake. Those are rounded numbers. That's why they don't add up to 54. But personally, I use them so much that I went ahead and bought them for about 2.6 million. All right, here we go. Let's get this thing turned on. Turn on everything that's useful to us, which is everything. And then we're gonna go to hail this doorway and get it open. While we're at it, let's boost our shields up. We're gonna need those. We should be leaving Faithful Dream Station, and I wanna go to Ariel is where we're gonna be mining. Zoom in on that. There's Ariel. Let's go ahead and find a nice spot like Smokestack. Sure, sounds great. I like to be on the right side of that horizon line. That way you have all day as the sun turns to do your mining activities. Excellent. And I always like to look through space as we travel around. Now, I did pick up some stuff to help me out on this trip. You shouldn't need a gun, but it's always good to have one. I also like to have a utility pistol to pick things up in case I need to move my rock around, in case it gets stuck or something like that. But most importantly, you're gonna want the Pembroke environmental suit and helmet and the backpack as well. It is the largest carrying capacity backpack in the game. It's also the best environmental protection suit in the game. Now it is an undersuit, not armor, so it won't protect you from gunfire, but we're out mining, hopefully not getting shot. And you can find all of that gear located at Tammany and Sons in Loreville in section L19. You got to take 2 trams to get there, but it is worth the trip. I also recommend picking up a set of the ADP armor in your color of choice. It's some pretty good high-end armor for being able to purchase it. The best armor, of course, is looted. I cut out my engines before I got to Smokestack, and that's because I like to stay away from different areas of interest. Hopefully that way, if anybody else was visiting, they didn't mine all the good stuff. And personally, I just like to look for the rockiest terrain, the most mountainous terrain. Tends to work pretty well. Got a decent aerial view of stuff over here. Looks like we've got some craters and maybe some mountains off in the distance that way. So I'm just gonna head straight down this direction to an elevation of about 2 kilometers. Remember, this is a mostly airless moon, so don't run yourself into the surface. I've done that a couple of times. It really makes for a bad day. Okay, we're just inside 2 kilometers range. I'm gonna level out here. I'm gonna switch to scanning mode, and I like to dial that scanner down just 1 notch. That gives me the first 50% of my view, not a 360%, but the 180 in front of me, and a little more dialed in. And then you can just ping away. And we're gonna be looking for Hadnite, which usually appears around 2 kilometers. Anything that appears further out is usually something else that we don't want. But I end up checking out every ping just in case. You never know what you're gonna find out here in the verse. Ooh, a good cluster. See that grouping like that? That could be Hadnite, or it could be like a Dulcine or Dolvine. Yeah, it's Dolvine. Dang it. That's the tricky one that gets me every time. Ooh, what do we have here? Just gonna nose right down after it. Come on, show me what you are. It's Hadnite. Yeah, we got one. All right. Let's back this thing up and get that landing gear out. I can back up an 18-wheeler like nobody's business, but these spaceships, they're kind of a trick. All right, touchdown. Excellent. So as you can see, I've got my Pembroke suit that makes me look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with a sunburn. You got the big old backpack right there and the helmet, so things are working really well. I have my RYT multi-tool, and I brought along a med pen and a couple bottles of Cruise just to make sure I don't die of starvation or thirst. All right, let's go do this. Okay, we got a good grouping of rocks right there. We're gonna turn our mining laser on fracture, and we're gonna need to back up a little bit to get to optimum range. Might just need a whole new angle on this group of rocks, actually. The little lines on the left side are gonna show you the distance from the rocks, and we wanna be the optimal distance from these rocks. And then once we find that optimal distance, we turn our fracture laser on and we crank that baby up. And you'll see that charge line shooting up pretty fast on the easy rocks and slower on the medium rocks. Once it gets to that optimum level, you back your laser down so you don't overcharge it, and it'll fill up that big green chunk. And once that gets all the way filled up without going into overcharge, then it'll burst the rock and little pieces will shower down. And then from there, we'll vacuum them up, but that's later. Kind of pushed that one pretty fast, actually. I got way over the optimal range on that. We do record these live on Twitch and YouTube. You can check out the live stream VODs on my main channel, or these more Star Citizen videos on this channel. And you can always join us live on Twitch if you like to be a little bit more interactive. I stream every weekday from 8 to 10 Central, and you can find me doing Star Citizen and horror survival games. Links in the description below. And you can see the information on the right that the instability of the rock is easy, meaning we can cut into it pretty fast and pop it quickly. It's 95% Hadnite, which is really good. Anything over 75% is something we like. And then of course the mass number is how big a rock it is. This one's only half mass, which isn't amazing, but at least it's of pure quality. All right, so then we tab and we see all our little bits of Hadnite on the ground, and we're gonna use our vacuum cleaner. Now this is the Walmart Dust Buster vacuum cleaner. It's the cheap $20 job. It really sucks at picking everything up, no pun intended. I'm hoping that they start selling us a Dyson, like with a wide nozzle cone that's got that shop vac power, you know, like 4 horsepower, just clear the floor because this thing is really slow at picking up hadnite chunks. And this costs us a lot of time. So we picked up all the hadnite in that spot. We're gonna go load up into our cuddy and see if we can find another spot to pick up some more. That was 22 CSCU, which is really good. Anything over 20 is gonna be a good haul. So 22 is real good. And now we just gotta get inside our vehicle if we can. Come on, give me the spread. What is it? If it's a hadnite, oh man, that's a tiny deposit. Oh my goodness, that's so small. It's barely worth picking up. Screw it, let's get out and do this. I think it's just one freaking rock. One rock, we don't leave any hadnite behind. Pop, you son of a gun, there we go. Look at that cute little pile of hadnite. Get in my golf cart. Probably wasn't really worth us landing and going and breaking the rock. We should probably look for bigger deposits than that. But I was just excited to actually get something. Remember, at any time in the video, you can just look up above and check the clock to see how much time we have left on these 2 hours. Obviously, I'm editing these videos down to save you, the viewer, some time. Nobody wants to sit through a 2-hour video of me mining rocks. Well, except maybe live chat, who happens to be here watching me through 2 hours of video recording mining rocks. It does look like a hadnite cluster, though. Oh, look at that! It's a hadnite cluster. All right, how can I get into that's like kind of on the rocks there, isn't it? I'm thinking maybe park down below and see if we can't drive up to it. We may have needed to go up on top of the hill. This one could be kind of tough to get to. Our golf cart doesn't have 4-wheel drive. We're gonna mine at an angle, folks. It took us a while to get up on this hill, but we're gonna try again right here. This looks like a pretty good patch of hadnite. We're gonna turn on our mining laser and make sure that we're in fracture mode. And we may be stuck a little bit closer than we want to, but that's because we're like kind of side hilling and we're just gonna do the best that we can. I swear, if they sold a vacuum cleaner attachment for the Graycat ROC, I don't care if it costs $2 million, I would buy it and install it on my Graycat ROC because this is the worst. Okay, so this was a really kind of pain in the ass one and it's costing us a little bit of time. But at the same time, it's a pretty good haul. Oops, that's on the other side of the rock over there. So come on, Graycat. Come on, Graycat. Let's go. We're not going anywhere. We're side hilling like it's a Bethesda game. There we go. Okay. Still on the other side of this little boulder. Not sure how good this is gonna be, but we'll get what we can while we can. Oh my God, did you see that? That was amazing. Woo, we got there. And for some reason, it's still not picking it up. Point blank range. The dust buster fails us again. All right, we're getting it. Let's get back to our ship. That was, that cost us some time doing them on a hill like that. We'll route to Coven, that'll work. You guys wouldn't believe how many times I run into the side of a planet. I can tell by the grouping of those rocks that that's not hadnite, so I'm not even worried about it. Man, I'm not getting any good scans here. Nothing at all popping up. This is terrible. RNG giveth and RNG taketh away. Yeah, I noticed that hadnite pops in around 2.6 or 2.4 kilometers, usually. And so when I see stuff at 7, I usually just don't bother with it. Let's turn on those afterburners and see if we can't cover more ground faster. Oh, hey, look at that one popped in. Oh, we got a good cluster. Ah, Dullvine. Damn you, Dullvine. Nothing. And it's not even popping up on my screen what this stuff is. I gotta rub my nose on it like a dog sniffing shit before it will appear to me. That looks like hadnite. That really looks like hadnite, but I am getting so dang close to this rock. Why don't you just show me what it is, please? I'm gonna go park. I think that is hadnite. It looks like it, so I'm gonna go try it. Yeah, it looks like it, right? Just barely enough time to get this. We are cutting it really close to being able to get this and go sell it in our 2-hour stream window. Why is that not even registering as a rock? I mean, that's hadnite. I can see it. It's like it's not there. Are you kidding me? We found it, folks. We found it. It's invisible hadnite. It's invisible hadnite. This rare commodity sells for 10 times the normal price of hadite. The problem is you just can't pick the damn stuff up. All right, so we tried to pick up that last batch of hadnite, but for whatever reason, it's not appearing. We can't mine it. Chat's telling me we got to just move along, and we're kind of out of time. So it looks like we're probably going to go to sell our stuff. So we're going to sell our goods at Lathan right here on Ariel. They buy hadnite for as much as anybody. And I'm going to leave some links in the description for some resources where you can find commodities for sale. I use 2 different sources. They're down below. All right, Lathan in target range. Here we go. Woo! All right, now we're gonna blast down there super fast and we'll probably wreck on our landing and lose all of our goods. No, I'm just kidding. I've done that enough times. I don't do it that often anymore. I wanna go to this platform over here. That'll get me closest. It may be that we can sell it right out of the Graycat ROC as long as it's on the landing gear. Sometimes that works. And sometimes we need to put it in our backpack and cart it over there 180 pieces at a time. Let's try driving this thing out and see what happens, if it'll allow us to sell it right out of the back of the ROC or not. We're gonna park it right here on the landing pad and just see what happens. This is kind of a test run, see if it's gonna work or not. All right, we're gonna select location. Graycat ROC. It's not gonna work. We can try other stuff though. Sometimes it does weird things when you select location and then select location. Nope, not gonna do that. Run 7, no. I'm gonna go through all of these just to be sure. Okay, so we tried to sell it right out of the Graycat ROC and that didn't work, which was kind of expected. That oftentimes doesn't work. So we're gonna have to pick it up 180 pieces at a time, cart it in our backpack and sell it that way. All right, we have 476 and we're gonna split that into 180 pieces, which is the size of our backpack. There we go. So it looks like it'll take us 3 trips. And as Chad has suggested, you can use 1 and 2 SCU containers. You can try using those on the elevators and selling them through a terminal, or you could just carry the container up to the door and hand them over one at a time. Also, if you have longer than 2 hours to be out in space, those containers will allow you to get more in one trip, obviously. You do run the risk, however, of crashing and losing everything. So I like to just fill up my ROC and go. And of course, I only have 2 hours to work with. So for some weird reason, I have to select location and then select location, and that'll pop up the hadnite, and then I can sell it for 78,000 for 180 units, which is pretty nice. We're gonna do that 2.5 times. Select location, hadnite 180, sell for 78,660. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more videos, as I'll be putting these out at least 2 videos per week. Hitting that like button is the best thing you can do to support a content creator like myself, because it really does help the algorithm and it doesn't cost you a thing. And the last one. And selling this gives us a grand total of 208,010 credits in our 2 hours of our IRL time. So this turned into a fairly lucrative deal. I mean, it's basically 100,000 credits per hour. You're gonna need 2 hours to get into it. Maybe if we hadn't have reached that one glitchy spot of hadnite, we could have done a little bit better. But of course, we could have done a lot worse. Like when we tried to record this video earlier this morning and the game kept crashing, my stream kept crashing and everything went wrong and we ended up wasting all that time entirely. You never know what you're gonna get. But so far, for hadnite mining on Ariel, this turned out to be a pretty good deal for me. Safe enough, wealthy enough of a crop we brought in, so I'm kind of happy with it. Remember, you can come watch these live on Twitch if you want to interact with me while I record these videos or while I'm just live streaming. I stream 8 to 10 every weekday on Twitch. You can also find me on YouTube, although interactivity isn't as great there, but you could rewatch the live streams on YouTube as well. That's a great place to check out those VODs. Otherwise, enjoy more of my Star Citizen videos on my Star Citizen channel right here on YouTube. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next one. Bye. You ever do any cosplay? I'm telling you, cosplay's where it's at. People make fun of furries, but those chicks are freaks, man. Plus
You
78,000.
promised I could get better drops.
666.
You said you were going to give me better drops.
Be sure to subscribe for more videos, and remember, I have a clever outro.